Hello, this is Ravil Nugmanov, software architect from One Way Automation, located in Edmonton, Canada. I would like to demo a new feature added in our product, Agama Visual Logger for OPC, which is used to collect data from OPC UA servers, store and forward it to different destinations like time series databases or MQTT brokers. And through MQTT, you can push data to cloud platforms such as Microsoft Azure IoT or Amazon IoT. And in this case, we will use as a destination MQTT broker HiveMQ hosted in the cloud. And as a source OPC UA server, we will use OPC UA Server from Unified Automation running at opcuaserver.com, which is hosted by One Way Automation. Okay, so this is the data source. I'm connected with Unified Automation UA Expert application, and here we can see connection settings. This is the URL. I can copy this URL for the future use maybe. And what we want, for example, let's say we want to select variables from, if we browse under objects building automation, we can see some air conditioner objects and then furnace objects, and they have some variables under them. So let's say we quickly want to start logging all these variables for air conditioners and furnaces. So in the version 3 of the Agama Visual Logger OPC, we have added new feature to browse OPC UA server's address space automatically, recursively, discover variables and add them into list of logged variables with minimal manual work. So now let's go to instance of the Agama Visual Logger for OPC, which is running in a Docker container in my laptop. Right now you can see it has some server connections added in the address space, and I don't want to change this. Instead, I would like to use a feature in the application called collector configurations. Right now it uses this configuration default. What is this collector configuration? It in instance defines list of these OPC UA servers, what you connect to, and what variables from these servers you are logging. So before this demo, I created one more record here, auto discovery demo, and this is just list of possible configurations, and which one from those is used is defined in instance settings. So if we go back to here, I went from settings instances. This is list of instances, and it has just one record here. Why we have this application instances is because we want in the future to manage multiple instances from single place, from single browser session. Okay, and you can configure multiple instances in the future, and they will share, by the way, some settings between them, including collector configurations. So you can create collector configuration, use it from multiple instances. Okay, so which collector configuration is used is set here in the instance settings. Now I want to use this, and for now it uses as a destination SQLite database to log data to. Later we will configure connection to HiveMQ and change it here. And then during the configuration, I would like to tune off collecting new data, because before starting pushing data to MQTT, I would like to make sure that our topics are properly configured. Because if we change the topic settings, then we will have some garbage topics in the MQTT broker. For that reason, I like to keep it collection disabled, and then save this, and we can go to statistics and see that our local storage doesn't have any data. So I want to make sure that there are no any data values left from the previous configuration. So there is some minor issue here. Our other space is empty, but logging variables is not empty. It's not just screen is not a web page is not refreshed. We'll fix that in the future. Okay, this is what you would have when you just start using Agama Visual Logger for OPC. And by the way, it has some list of steps to do when you're just getting started, and it has a link to user manual too, which is available online and locally. Okay, so now we have application at starting point. First, we want to configure connection to the OPC UA server. It uses this URL already because it's like hard-coded to use as a example. We can keep this name as is, and there is one thing in the server tag. We can enter some information which in the future can be used as part of MQTT topic structure. So for example, this can be, for example, this server is collecting from some building, and we can for example enter here some identifier of the building and then use it as part of MQTT topic. It can be something like part of IC 95 defined structure, hierarchical structure of your MQTT namespace. So you can probably enter here such data as site A, area Z, etc. But we will keep it simple, and let's say we just enter building A, and we connect just in non-secured mode anonymously, and for anonymous we don't need this, and actually that's it what we need to connect to the server. Okay, so now to make sure we can connect to it, we can expand the node, and we can see this building automation nodes here, and we could actually select these variables which we want to log manually, click on the log button, and then they will be added. But we don't want to do that manually. We want to automate that. For that, we can use this open variable selector dialog menu command added in this version 3.0. Okay, we open this new dialog window, and what we have here, we have to configure a few things. One, so-called browse filter script. This is Python script, and if we go to list of scripts and select that browse script, we can see here what does it do. The first, these Python scripts are called at runtime, and they can be edited by the users, right? So for that reason, in order to prevent running some malicious code from Python scripts, a list of Python modules which can be imported is limited. Only those for now can be edited, can be imported. We can make this configurable probably in the future if customers would like that. And for now, this is hard-coded. Only this can be imported. You can type import anything here, modify and import whatever, but it will cause error in the script if you do that. So, and the script should have at least one predefined method or function, Python function called filter. It takes one argument of string type, which is actually JSON serialized object. And what it does, it has the member nodes, and in that it has array of node configuration data, and we go over that list, over that array, and we can get from that array for each node, which is this is the browser result returned by the server, and this script decides which browser you would like to browse further down. Keep browsing. So you have access. So you will have access to the node ID, and one of important thing is browse path, full browse path, and you can check if it's variable or object or whatever else. And you can for exact structure of argument passed as a JSON structure, you can open after do some browsing, you can open browse log, and by default all input and output arguments are logged into the log file. So over there you will see. And here, based on, for example, in this case, based on browse path, decision is made, should we continue browsing those nodes or not. So the criteria is now if browse path is objects, or it starts by objects building automation, then we continue browsing, and eventually it will reach these conditioner, air conditioner, and furnace objects. Okay, we save this script, and there is another script, Python script, used to decide what variables to select from the other space. And here it must have again the same function with the same name, filter. And we go again, it will have a list of OPC UA variable nodes, and you have access to different options like node ID, and then from node ID namespace. And you can see that if namespace is 0, we skip those because they are standard OPC UA nodes. And then if browse path has air conditioner on them or furnace, it means we are in right track. We are under this air conditioner and furnace nodes, and we select them, and we keep track of number of variables, because if you use community edition and if a trial period of 1 month is expired, then your number of variables will be limited to 64. And if you have limit 64, and if you want add, for example, 65, just one more, none will be added because after adding a number of variables would exceed the limit. So for that reason, you might want to add exactly 64. You can select those, and then it will make sure only those will be selected up to that limit. And after selecting variables, you can change a lot of variables. You can see in the log messages what fields each node have. You can have, for example, a publishing interval, change it, sampling interval, change it, and you can also set topic. For example, in case of MQTT, what topic this variable should be published to. You can make this kind of configuration settings, but in this case we do not do that. And once we do, these two scripts are here. And another option here is so-called variable group. The thing is, in Agama Visual Lager for OPC, variables can be grouped into different groups, and these groups can be used to set default settings for variables which you will add. And I can, for example, go to list of groups. Right now we have just one, and here we have publishing interval. It was changed. Let's see, set it to something less frequent, because it will use our limits on HiveMQ free installation very quickly if we continue publishing data with high frequency. And we can set different settings here and save, and then whatever settings are used for that group, they will be used for variables adding as a result of this selection operation. Okay, we set these settings, and other than that, we can configure logging settings. By default, it's enabled, and you can also define what to do with once you select these variables, what to do with them. You can add them, which is default, but you can use that set to update your existing variables. This one can be used if you had older version where you did not have browse path, for example, and now browse path is added and it's stored in the table, and then it can be used as a part of your MQTT topic or InfluxDB or Kafka topics. And you can use, in this video we will not cover that, you can use also these settings to select variables which ones you want to delete. But for now we will focus on adding. Okay, we have configuration settings ready, and I click start, and it starts browsing. I go over these browsing nodes, and it's already completed, and it selected 256. It looks like our maximum was reached, but we will leave it for now, and we will see that not all variables will be added, I think. And then we click add, and we see here these variables are added, and it did not refresh automatically again this address space. And then I can refresh it, but we do not see any variables. Why? Because right now we don't have that logging enabled in the instance settings. Okay, so now we have browser. Now we have OPC UA Server connection settings configured, and we have list of variables to log. And we can here right now, for example, value, just to make sure that we got data correctly here. By the way, this list of columns which should be displayed can be tuned on and off, and we want to see, for example, browse path and browse name, and you can also change the order. And browse path, maybe we don't need that browse name because it's included into browse path. So long story short, you can configure what columns to show, and you can also sort by columns. And for example, we want to sort by browse path, and then all of them will be sorted in this way, and we can go to the end and see what is at the end. So furnace 9, furnace, and air conditioner. I think majority of variables are included already, and maybe some only missing. Okay, so this is list of variables, and And then when we configure connection to the MQTT broker, we will see also a topic column here. Okay, now let's go to MQTT broker configuration. This is this part, and we want to configure connection to HiveMQ. I have one a free MQTT broker cluster created at HiveMQ, and in order to connect to it, what we need URL. I can copy it. We need port number, either HTTPS or WebSocket, and this. And also, in order to connect, we need to create username and password. I have them already created. And then in Visual Logger for OPC, it's possible to configure multiple different configuration settings to connect to various types of time series databases or MQTT brokers, but only one of them will be used at a time. So I have already created one for connection to this HiveMQTT, yes, HiveMQ instance in the cloud. Here's the host name. What I did enter, it's host name, port number, and we have to select manually, specifically, even if this port is used for secured connection. We have to check this checkbox, and then we enter username, password, and that's it. In order to connect to the broker, we can click on this connection and verify that we can connect to it. And then another thing is here how to compose topics. There are different options, but they are very simple. Like you can use as a topic just group name, server name, etc. And then if you define, for example, only server ID, which is common for all variables under that server, then you have to modify payload. That in the payload there is distinction, some option which says what variable this payload is for. Okay, so right now it's about topic, and in order to configure the topic, we go to JSON editor, which is like free form of configuration settings. Easy to modify structure of these configuration settings using JSON structure. That's why we use JSON editor here. And I have configuration for the topics to use a server tag. This is / to separate elements in the topic, and then we want to use browse path, and from the browse path, the last element in the browse path, this is like array, the last element, it's defined as a n here. You see in square brackets in -1 colon n. It means like slice of the array in Python. That kind of syntax is used here. It means up to the last element, in the last element, and n -1, the one before last. So if we go to server, and if we see the variable, for example, temperature, and its browse path will be objects, building automation, furnace 10, temperature. The temperature which is the variable browse name or display name in this case, the same. The last element in the path, and then before that furnace 10. So we would use furnace 10 temperature, and before that we use server tag. And this is how we will compose the topic. And now there is also another options here. So what will we use in the payload, we can define template for the payload, but right now it uses files for that, which means the value as this will be sent as a payload. So there is no any complex structure. But we want, if we want, we can set this use payload template to true, and then in the payload, we can put, for example, just in this case, in square brackets value, it will be just value, but we can put more data here. We can put some JSON structure, and then include value, include the timestamp, and include again elements of browse path, etc. But we will keep it simple in this case. Okay. So now we have configuration to the MQTT broker. We save this, and now once we save that, we can now we can tell the instance collect this data from these servers for these variables, and target and push them into HiveMQ instance in the cloud. Okay, we save that, and then after I refresh this page, in the list of columns I should see topic now. Yeah, I have a topic name. I select that, and I just a little bit expand it. We don't need probably this storage mode, for example. Where is that? Store mode, I don't want to show it. And probably publishing interval, sampling interval, okay. Okay, so now we have here topic name, and here we have topics, and okay, we can go through a few of them and verify that these are really topics we want. So now it's ready to start pushing data, and we can go to HiveMQ web client and see that there are no any messages yet. Okay, it's ready, and I have also MQTT Explorer configured to connect to the same HiveMQ. It's ready to start getting data, and now we can tune on data collection, enable it, and it should start collect data from the server and start pushing them into the broker. Now we see that there are total 256 variables being logged, and all of them green, which means status is good. Okay, and if we go to statistics, then what does it show? It shows we are connected. Sometimes it doesn't show that status always, but one of the major indicators is how many values we have in the local storage, not forwarded yet. So if it's low, then it means we're okay. These settings, it shows us what was, for example, how many variables were collected. This is total from, it was running earlier, and it was collecting with another configuration. So now we want to reset these settings so they do not affect our current statistics, and we can see that about not all variables change with the same rate. So for that reason we have some around 39 or 40 variables are changing every second, and with the same rate they are pushed to the MQTT broker. Okay, it looks like normal. Just one thing, TSDB status is blinking, but it's some minor issue here. It will be fixed eventually. Okay, so now let's go to the broker side. Okay, we have these values coming. Here we have timestamps, we have messages, values. It looks okay. And now we have some values coming here too, and we can expand those and see, for example, temperature. Does it change? We can see its graph here. Okay, so this is how so-called auto discovery. We don't have strict term yet, but auto discovery of variables maybe is the right term to encapsulate this feature. This is how it looks like. And once you configure this, you have your own scripts certainly for your exact case, and eventually you can have this whole bunch of scripts with different servers, and once you have that in place, then you can add more servers. And for example, this we have some another example here running. In this case, we have total number of variables 10,000, and but this would not take too long time comparing to once you able to configure one server. You have these scripts, then you can scale that easily to a whole bunch of servers. And you can see that in this case, just show you here, it's collecting. We have total 100k variables, and they change every second, and they are pushed into InfluxDB database. Here the rate of forwarding is higher because there was it was before using another database, and that was not connection to it, and for that reason it was storing some value in the local storage. For that reason we have this forward rate is higher than collecting. Okay, so that's it. How long did it take for us to configure all these 256 variables? Not too long, I think. And if you want, dear customers, we can also discover these servers and even create servers. We can add more functionality to select what OPC UA servers from your local network you want to select, and then you just can have empty other space. You go to the site, you have these scripts ready, defining which ones to select, and then we can add one bigger button, and it will select all your servers, all your variables, and start logging them in maybe 10 minutes or so. Thank you for watching, and please download. By the way, if you are if you want to try yourselves, this is the start point we have at onewayautomation.com. You go just to your website. Let me show that. Okay, actually, where is our website? So you can go to our website, go to products, select Visual Logger for OPC, and then if you go further down a little bit, there is documentation and support. You go to online user manual and you select deploy, and you can select from here how to deploy it as a Docker container, how to set up it in Windows, and how to set up in there are also other options. Oh, by the way, probably I can mention it very quickly. By the way, we have also no, this is next time. Okay. So this is the start point, how to deploy our product Agama Visual Logger for OPC. Again, thank you for watching. We'll be glad if you start using this product in your proof of concept projects and then eventually in your production. Thank you. Bye bye.